How's your week going? You joined me in my bedroom today. I had tried to remove the ironing board so that this video could be more aesthetically pleasing. But it is actually stuck there with some artwork that I've also put behind this chair. And so I can't remove it. But it will be one of the things that will be removed this week, which is what I'm here to talk to you about. I've had a super few days, and you may remember that a couple of days ago I said that I'd been furniture shopping. Now, this is a really big deal for me because I've been living in this house, as I told you, sort of 9 years, nearly a decade. And I have only really bought one piece of furniture myself, which is my bed. Everything else was gifted to me by lots of different loving people over the years. And so I've never really been in a position financially to be able to buy my own furniture. And apparently I now am. So I went to this fantastic secondhand furniture shop and I picked out these beautiful pieces, and they're very big. And I got them for a fraction of the cost that you would get them brand new, but they're these beautiful wood pieces, and so they're so beautifully made, and they're going to last years and years and years and years, and I am deeply excited about them. Like, my whole heart is so full. And what's been fun is yesterday when I got home, because I also got home on the Saturday having bought it, but yesterday I was sat in my house sort of going, I've got a lot of rearranging to do because I've got so much stuff here that needs to be moved and even got rid of prior to this big furniture arriving. And there's a lot of work to be done. And I found this really interesting because it kind of felt very reflective of some of my life experiences right now where, yeah, there's work to be done. There's work to be done. And of course, it's that kind of cliche thing. You know, where we say, you've got to clear space, you've got to make room for the new. But it's a very different experience for me on this occasion because the things that I'm having to consider removing from my life are things that I actually liked. You know, in the past, I worked really hard to clear my life. You know, we do that, don't we? We go through these phases of clearing out to make way for new. And I have got rid of so much toxicity in my life. And so these are things once I saw them, I wanted to get rid of, and they were challenging in their own ways. This was kind of bad stuff, but it was a very different feeling because I was really willing to get rid of anything that didn't kind of reflect the woman that I wanted to be. You know, this was stuff I really wanted to get rid of, but this stuff is different because the reason it's still here, even to this day, is because I liked this stuff. And some of it is stuff that I have accumulated over a long time. This is stuff that I had a connection to, and things that I wanted, and things that I loved, and things that I valued, and things that I appreciated. And it's really weird to be realizing that it's time for them to move on. And now what I love about this is symbolically it's not really it's the great versus the bad, which it was in the past, right? Get rid of the bad to make way for the great. This is now a different dynamic because it's me letting go of things I only kind of like in order to have that which I really, really want. And now I can see this like kind of reflective in my own world in different ways because, like, for example, I have people that I kind of like, but I am one woman and I only have so much time to go in so many areas, and I'm having to prioritize that time for the people that I truly love and enjoy and have that resonance and really want to engage with. And that's both inside of work and my friendships and other things. You know, I'm going, okay, I'm having to make time for different things, and it's not because there's anything toxic or anything bad. It's because I've got these things I like and these things I love. And that's a really different balance. And it's actually, I'll be honest, I think I'm finding it kind of hard right now. You know, like, okay, not hard, but it's certainly not easy. These are not things I'm doing easily because I almost have in the past felt more justified in owning what I want when it was against the bad guys or against the bad things. I guess it adds some sense of morality, or it gives me permission, and it says, oh, I'm allowed to walk away from this, I'm allowed to get rid of it because that's bad. It's really been an interesting process for me to actually stand for what I want when the thing I'm standing against isn't a villain. And I must admit, you know, this people pleaser in me and this performer in me that wants to be liked and be lovable sometimes felt impolite or like a bit mean. And it's really, I know by truth it's not. Like, I know that. But that little patterning has definitely been really interesting. And I've gone, oh. And it's sort of giving me this practice in a different way that I'm allowed to want what I want, whether that's my beautiful furniture or whether it's these things I'm excited about in my life. And it's really interesting that if I say I've only got time for so much, you know, there's lots of things I'm really in love with right now, from my relationships to my work and, you know, and to my solitude still, you know, that's always a priority for me. And having to decide, right, well, I've only got so much time in a week, and I get to decide where it goes, and allowing myself not to do things because I feel obligated or because, you know, hold on, let me word it. So for example, some of these things that I'm stepping away from are things that I've cared for years. For years and years and years. So I'm not letting them go because they're bad or they've become toxic. You know, in fact, I don't want it to get to that point. I don't want to ignore myself so much that these things then become toxic and completely, you know, I can't be in them. Like, I don't want to be ejected from them energetically. It's really interesting to arrive there prior to that. You know, you sort of arrive to this point prior to when it gets really bad, when you realize it's now a terrible fit for you, and do it before that. Do it before it gets terrible and say, actually, I just feel like it's not quite hitting the spot anymore. And it's not because I dislike it, and it's really weird because some of this stuff, like I say, I've really invested in for years, invested into the creation of these things, and then to go, I like them, but there's other stuff I want more of. And what's really been supportive for me is I've tried to move away from that very strong polarity of like and dislike, good and bad. And I like to use, what do I want less of and what do I want more of? And that can change from day to day. Like, see, today I want less noise. I want less noise today. And I want more downtime because I've got a really full week and I need to sort of put it in these chunks like I talked about in the other video. So I want more of that. This week I want more togetherness. And I'm happy because I've got that booked in. I've got a lot of engagements this week. Got a really full week. And it's all with lots of togetherness that I really like. And I want less convincing people of what it is I'm doing and where I'm going to be and why I'm unavailable. And I know that practice is with me. So I want to be feeling like I have to convince people, so that's what I want less of. But you know, like, trying to weigh that up, the more and less, I find like that really helps me, because it's not that I don't want these things or these people, but I just want it less, because what I want more of is so meaningful to me now, and I need to create time and space and connection for that, because it's what I want. And that's really interesting. I find it really interesting as well that for me, I am willing to put in a lot of hard work for this furniture. Like, the pieces are quite big. We've got a lot clearing out, sorting out. And in turn, it sort of creates that ripple effect where we sort out this area, then we have to move this stuff to over there, and then that stuff has to go somewhere else. And it's sort of creating this musical chairs effect where everything is sort of is that ripple, that butterfly effect, that to move it there, then triggers there, then triggers there, then triggers there. And we have a lot to do. I mean, we're looking at maybe like, you know, maybe 2 days work here. It might trickle into other days. It is becoming quite a big thing. And what's interesting about this is that this year, I truly feel like there will be work to be done. That is inescapable. There's a lot of change happening, and it's big change, like really big change for everybody. And there's no getting away from the fact that it's going to be work. You know, if we want those things and we want to make time and space for them, it is going to be work, and work is going to be required. There's no getting around it. But when it's something we want, we're willing to work for it. I notice I get a lot more frustrated and intense and worked up if I feel like I'm putting in a lot of work for something that I'm not convinced is worth it. I think, like, even if I'm not admitting that out loud, I am probably getting really knotted up and exhausted because I'm pretending that I'm okay with putting the work in for it, when really I'm not. Maybe I don't think it's worth it, but when it's something I really want, I want to create it, I want to experience it, I want to bring it into being, I care about it, when it's meaningful for me, I am willing to work for it. I'm willing to do that, and I do it without a complaint, and it just kind of happens a lot more naturally, and I will go the distance with it, and I will have the tenacity to do that and the devotion. But I notice I get very worked up and very tantrumy if I feel exhausted by something that maybe, if I was being honest, in my heart, I don't actually want to put the energy into, because it's a lot of work for something that maybe I don't want to work for. And I think that's going to be a really interesting thing to keep an eye on in the next few weeks, is to say, where am I getting scrunchy? Because I feel like I'm putting in a lot of work and I expected to put in a lot of work, but is it worth it? Because when it's worth it, I don't seem to question the work so much. I seem to want to do the work. And I think that that's a really interesting thing that I can bring to you guys today, is the idea of, when we want something and we really want it and it's a hard thing, we're willing to work for it. But when we're not entirely sure yet, or that wanting hasn't come to its sort of ripening and readiness, it feels like we're putting in work for something that we're not entirely convinced yet that we want. It's not a natural thing. And I think that's something that we can all do and we can all think about. But also the idea of what it means to let go of things that aren't the villains. You know, like when you got to let go of something that's not a villain, and you have to, like, sink inwards and remind yourself you're allowed to want what you want, even if it's between a good thing and a great thing. And you're allowed to want what you want, even if you really, really love this thing and put so much time and energy into it for years and years and years. You're allowed to want something else now, and that you're allowed to make the space for more of what you want. More of what you want, more of what you want. And that really lovely conversation around, I want less of this and more of that, I think it keeps it from being so harsh. We don't say, I don't want to see this person ever again, or I don't want this ever again. It just says, I just want less of that right now, and I want more of this. And just finding ways to reconnect with the allowing in ourselves, because I know that's something that I'm experiencing. You know, I'm experiencing how to own what it is I want without having to convince myself I'm allowed it, and seeing how, you know, I've been practicing that for years, but to see how it can take on different tones and different levels, and it can take on a deepening each time, is so beautiful to me. I just love that. And I felt like that was worth sharing with you for a weekly conversation. Let me know what you're allowing for yourself, and whether you're, you know, letting go and making space for greatness right now. But also, I'd love to hear what you want more and less from. If you want to put that in the comments, that'd be great. What do you want less of right now, and what do you want more for? And how willing are you to work for that which you want? I would just love to hear from you. I always think it's wonderful. So let me just go over that one more time. We are willing to work for it if it's what we really want. We are always moving through new and refreshed connection to being allowed what we want. And the idea of less than, more than, as opposed to those very striking polarities. You know, I want less of this and more of this. Lovely, lovely little things to carry us through the week there, I think. They're just lovely little self-connective things, and just really, really beautiful. And that's what I'm doing, so I'm sharing that with you. Okay, guys, wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Let me know how you are. Okay, see you later. Bye.